morning. Or good afternoon, I guess. We are at Matsumoto Castle. I'm waiting in the waiting area in order to get into the castle. They only allow a certain amount of people in at any given time. This is quite a gorgeous castle, actually. It's probably one of the prettiest that I've seen in a long while. I would compare it to like Himeji or Nagoya. Nagoya was probably as pretty as this. The Matsushima Castle was also very pretty that we saw, and I think it took us 3 hours to get here, and that's really where our morning went. We did wake up quite early, in my opinion, and we shipped off our luggage to our hotel, not for tonight, but for tomorrow night. And the idea behind it is to get onto the Nagano Alpine tomorrow, and they don't allow any roller bags on, so at least that's what I read. I will definitely report back if I see differently, but because of that, we shipped our luggage off, which wasn't bad for 2 carry-on suitcases, only like $26, I think, something like that. 3,500 yen is the cost. Let's just do it in yen. And then from there we drove here. I guess I did get a couple of photos of the Spirited Away bridge during the day. That was the only thing that we did other than breakfast. Breakfast, it was good. I don't think it was as good as some of the places that we had in Shikoku when we were last here, or was as good as Ginzan. I think the Ginzan breakfast was better, but it wasn't bad. It was a bit fishier than what Lynn wanted. I think all the meals at this place were a bit fishier than what Lynn wanted. So we did that, packed up, went to, real cool move. I asked for the shipping labels for the takubin, as it's known as, from Sekizen onsen. And then it already had their address and everything printed on it. And so we were able to have all that information filled out. And then I had the Sekizen staff fill out the address for the next hotel that we're staying at. So just now we're moved up as we are the next group that's to go into the castle. It's about a half an hour wait currently. And about every 10 minutes they had us move down a little bit, so pretty good. But that was an amazing move. So I had all the forms filled out to have the items shipped. And then it was just the hotel was telling me they don't think that they could get it to our next hotel by tomorrow night, really. And so it was like I already had that kind of in mind since we're out in the middle of nowhere, and found the closest Yamato shipping, which is the Kuroneko, or Black Cat shipping, as everybody knows it at. And we went out to that station to ship our luggage. We found out that they won't ship stuff to America, as we did need to do one shipment to the US, so we're gonna have to go to a JP right after we visit this castle. Other than that, everything went smoothly, super fast and quick. Like, all I had to do was hand her the forms. She measured the bags, charged us accordingly, and we left 3 hours later with a couple of breaks in between for 7-Eleven or Lawson's or a gas station, and we are here. When we first got here, the parking lot, I think, for this place officially is like only 100 yen, but as I couldn't find the official parking lot for the cars, they only had the bus and bikes that I could find. That's what Google led us to. The car, we actually just parked in a parking lot that charges 800 yen for 4 hours, and we went to a Thai restaurant for lunch as we woke up at 7, left the hotel by 9:30ish, got to the Yamato shipping by about 10, and 3 hours from there, we got here at 1, and so we went to go have lunch. What time is it now?
3 o'clock.
Oh wow, it's 3 o'clock. So we're definitely running out of time here to do things. We're going to check out this castle and then go do the post office because they close at 5. Probably spend about maybe an hour, 45 minutes-ish probably in the castle. It's really pretty, but it's actually, looking at it, it's not that big. One really cool thing, I guess, if it matters, is that of the 4 to 6 story castles, this apparently is the oldest one. It's also considered one of the prettiest castles in all of Japan. I will note that in 2017, they did a study here to see if it could last a 7 to 8 pointer earthquake. And they found that there are a bunch of areas here that would just collapse. And so a bunch of the areas of the castle are currently closed for renovations. They've been working since then. They don't plan on finishing until, I think it said later this year, but I think that's a pipe dream. I think it's going to go into next year at least what I see what they're doing. But they're reinforcing everything. There's a lot of renovations going on. So maybe that'll make this trip a little bit faster. Luckily, the main part of the castle, though, looks to be finished or renovated already. It looks great, and we've been able to get some great shots as well from the outside as well as the inside. And I look forward to going actually into the keep instead of just these inside the castle wall areas. But that being said, we'll check back in a moment here. And welcome back. We are in the hotel in Nagano, the Mash Cafe and Hotel, I think it's called. Plans changed drastically at the last minute, as they do. Being that we were kind of an hour and a half late into Nagano or Matsumoto Castle, being that we were an hour late out of the hotel this morning or the resort, we did make up some time by dropping off the luggage at the Yamato shipping service, but because they didn't do shipping to America, which I didn't know, we actually had to stop by a Japan post to ship things, and that actually took a lot longer than I was expecting it to. Luckily, after eating lunch, which I mentioned earlier at the Thai restaurant, or did I not mention that? For lunch today, we had Thai food at a Thai restaurant, Kyoko, in Matsumoto. We parked our car right next to it, and Lynn saw it and was like, let's go get Thai food. I said, fine. Everybody in there was from Thailand, which was kind of cool. They all thought I was from Bangkok and were quite confused when I told them that I was actually from California. We had ladna, pad thai, and a tom yum noodle soup. It was funny. The lady in there, because she knew that my sister and I were Thai, warned us about the tom yum. But I was like, no, I think it'll be delicious, and it was. But anyhow, the food was actually overall decent. It wasn't the best Thai food I've ever had, but I have to say for Japan and how hard it probably is to get those ingredients, they did a very decent job. They were definitely working hard. They provided Thai coffee for us. It wasn't true Thai coffee, but it was definitely as close as it really gets for that type. The meal was pricey. That was probably the long and short of it. But it's funny because for dinner, we actually had a very inexpensive meal. But that'll come in a second. After we went to that restaurant, we then went to the castle, which that was fantastic. I know I have a little intro as we got into the temple, or the castle, but overall it was fantastic. It did at points feel like we were cattle being herded, as they just kind of wanted people to move. It is considered one of the prettiest castles in all of Japan, and there is a huge amount of people that were going, plus with the ongoing renovations, with the waiting system that they had that I just described, it made it to where you needed to kind of keep moving in order for them to keep letting people through the castle and make sure that everybody was going through. They had a ton about the history of this castle and how its defenses were, and how it was really a gun-heavy castle. It was made for guns. Like all the little holes in the walls that they make for shooting out of were designed for guns and not arrows. They still had the places where you could drop rocks if you needed to, or anything through the gaps between the wall and the floor. But I also think that that was designed more for you to be able to point a rifle down, or a musket, or a whatever they were, those cannons that they had, the blunderbuss type deal. That it was crazy the amount of weapons that they had at this place. They also had all the different type of histories and how they moved through each different gun type and what they imported, how they made bullets, how they made gunpowder. There was just a plethora of information about that as you went up the stairs. Now, speaking of the stairs were crazy tall. I don't even know. They were vertical pretty much. They're more like a ladder than they were like stairs. And as you got higher from the 4th to the 5th floor, it went to a even steeper incline, which was crazy. So at that point, there was this one girl that kind of, like, I have no idea what happened. She was behind me, but she slipped and fell down the rest of the stairs. Luckily, her only thing that was hurt was her ego. And it was like she popped back up and was like, I'm okay. And obviously just ran off because she was embarrassed. But it was very difficult, and I was surprised that the amount of grandmas and grandpas that were going up and down, there weren't more trips and falls. Another very funny thing to me was when we got to the very top floor, it's a very small room, but it had 4 windows that pointed to the 4 cardinal directions. And one really funny thing about that was I went to each one of the cardinal directions to take a little bit of video and a little bit of photo, but it felt like everybody else came up, walked around in a circle, and then went back down. So like I was getting into the Congo line to go back down, and it really felt like the scene from Zootopia where all the hamsters are just following each other, and when they get redirected, they just follow each other to the ice cream vendor. Hilarious in that sense. But coming back down, it was just more about weaponry, like what they wore. They had some armor. One room had a real cool thing about where the master of the castle would typically sit. That's where he would entertain anybody that was to come visit him. That was really neat. It had a little pyramid type box on top of a little zabuton, I think is what they're called, a little pillow that you sit on. And then at the very base, right before you, or the second level, I guess, if the first level is the ground floor, there is a moon viewing room, which apparently is very odd to have in a castle. Ironically, Matsumoto Castle is the sister castle to Okayama Castle, which I've been to many times actually since I used to live there. And I don't remember there being a moon viewing room at the Okayama Castle, but apparently these are the only 2 castles that have them. And this one was purposely made because it was ordered by the shogun at the time to create a moon viewing room in this fortress. And it's very out of place because as the rest of the castle is very well defended, this is the only room that has wide open windows with no defenses. So if you were to sit there staring at the moon, you could easily get shot. Other than that, we came back down and went over to the post office to go ahead and ship all the items I spoke about earlier to America. That took a lot longer than it should have, mainly because it had to be digital this time. And I remember when I had to do it by hand, again, this is a while ago, everything was filled out by hand. And so a lot of the things that you have to fill out for tax reason, I guess, tariffs, you actually had to fill out immediately like what it was and how much it was worth. And that was a long and strenuous process that at first I just wrote everything down on one line, how much it all cost approximately, and then to insure it. And then after the lady that worked there saw that, she's like, no, you have to write each individual item. So then I was like, okay, Star Wars figurines 2 at $150 each, stickers and seals and like other paper souvenirs valued at $10, snacks valued at $10, and then we insured it to get there. Also, it's funny because it's insured, but at the same time, there is a thing of what do we want to do if we're not able to accept it, which I'm shipping it to myself, so I'll be able to accept it, but I had to mark that it could be thrown away. to me, that just means that if they ship to the wrong area, they could just throw it away and we lose everything. So that would suck. Other than that, that took forever, and it was mainly because they had to check on everything. So we would fill everything out, they would take it, they'd check it, and then they'd come back and tell us that it was wrong. And they couldn't really tell us why it was wrong, they just said it was wrong and how they wanted us to do it differently. So then I'd just do it differently, give it back to them, they check it, and again it was wrong. Now, ironically, we had 30 minutes of free parking in front of the post office, and this was at 4:30. We arrived there about 4:15ish, maybe a little earlier. So we were like, okay, we're good on time. We should be able to get in and out. At 5:15, I was still going back into the post office to then get the parking erased, because they're like, sorry that this took so long. If you come back with your parking ticket, we'll refund any money that you spent in order to park here. And so I had no idea what they meant. So I went and grabbed the parking ticket, and I was like, oh, this is the charge. Finding out what the charge was, then I just went back to the place, handed it to them. They looked at it, understood that they took forever to ship our package, zeroed it out, and I was able to just park for free, which was kind of cool. Everything just took so much time there, though. After that, it was a mad dash back into Nagano from Matsumoto. We unfortunately didn't get to go to the wasabi farm or the famous shrine here, Zugunji, I think it was, or temple here. I guess it's a shrine and a temple. It's one of the oldest ones in all of Japan, apparently, and it has the two Buddhist and Shinto items there because of its age. But I think that's just another call for the trip to come back to Nagano and check out more of it. And so from there, we made our way back to the car rental. That was simple. Literally just turned it in. We paid for the ETC charges for driving on the roads. It's like $20. And then we came to the hotel to check in. At the check-in, the person checking us in was asking, hey, are there any questions you had? And I asked about tomorrow, which we're trying to do the Nagano Kurobe Alpine route. And it was crazy because he started looking it up and he's like, oh, you have to reserve online. I'm like, that's not possible. They don't have any spots left. And another customer kind of overheard us and he was like, oh, you want to do the Kurobe Alpine route? And I said yes. And he really spent like way too much time trying to figure out how to get me to do an online reservation for something I already knew was not going to work. But I entertained it and spent all this time working. And he asked me for my phone and he started trying to do it himself, thinking that I was doing something wrong, which is 100% fine. And nothing was working. And so it ended up that he just was like, you got to go talk to the JR people. I'm sorry. We can't figure anything out. So I thanked everybody that helped, came up to the room, looked at it real quick. With that, why don't we go ahead and do a room tour. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it. All right, that is the elevator to get up. We are on the 3rd floor. We're staying in room 34. The room is less of a hotel and more of a hostel situation. So we do have a full body mirror right there. Our hangers are right there. Bunk beds immediately right there. I could touch this. Like, that's how close it is. This is the restroom. I already took my shower and I'm getting ready for bed. It's a bit early, but I'm actually very tired from our early wake up and long drive today, and we have another early wake up call tomorrow. But very tiny bathroom. So the toilet's here, and it does have the wash your hands above the reservoir type thing, but there is another sink right there. And I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use that one to brush your teeth and not this one, because that would be kind of rancid. Shower situation is actually pretty decent. It's a lot bigger than it probably looks, but yeah, it was all right. And this door did an okay job at keeping the water out when you actually lock it appropriately. A lot of these doors actually kind of suck in Japan, so I'm actually quite surprised at that. There is really good ventilation as there are 2 vents in here. So at least it doesn't feel humid. And that could be a plus. Coming back out, we have the beds. 2 down here and 2 up top. We do have the AC situation right above us. And we have light switches in all the weird spots. So this is like the main lights. And then each person has a small light for themselves as you would in a hostel. I guess technically most bedrooms have like bedside lamps as well. So I'm not going to be too harsh there. As you can see, it's just kind of a futon on a piece of wood. And then your blanket and pillow situation. That's on all the beds. There are quite a few rules here. Main thing is don't eat, don't smoke, and don't drink inside your room. There is a free drink bar downstairs between 10 o'clock and 10 a.m. If you use it on the other time, so between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. it's free. If you use it between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. though, you have to pay 500 yen, which isn't that bad for an all-you-could-drink bar. There is one window right over here, and we're just going to go ahead and shut that because I just don't want to have any access light coming in. One thing to note, the thing that makes this really a hostel is this roll right here. Please remove used pillowcases, blanket covers, and bed sheets and towels and put them on the floor by the door when you leave. So once we're all done here, we'll throw everything over there by the door. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I have to say, for the cost, I might have gone with a different hotel. This is actually really decently located though, and that's actually why I selected it at the end. But I was debating if I wanted to cancel this pretty much until the last moment. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get back to my talking head and finish off the night. And so as you could see, the room is tiny. I mean, it's not bad. I would say this is probably average for like a Japanese hostel. For the cost of it though, I have to say this is probably more expensive than any other hostel I've really paid for in Japan. Which, like, dating myself, the cheapest that I've ever paid for a hostel in Japan was $10 a night. So this is way, way more than $10 a night per person. So that's pretty crazy. It is a private room. That bathroom is wonky. And so, yeah, we're going to stop to figure out some situations here. And, yeah, so we came back to the room, like, dropped off all our stuff, went back to go get dinner. And the first thing I wanted to do was go to the JR station to talk to the JR agent about how to get the Kurobe Alpine route stuff going. They kindly pointed me to a machine that's inside of the JR station, which I realize I don't have any footage or photo of. I'll have to try to remember to do that tomorrow and just make maybe a short video about how to actually do this thing, because I don't think I've found that info anywhere. And it doesn't seem that anybody knows how to do it. And beyond that, it like took 2 Japanese people more than 15 minutes to try to figure out that I couldn't do it online, which it's just poor design really is what it is. But like, we'll try to put it all together and make a quick video on how to do the Kurobe Alpine route and how it actually works out. Hopefully we could even buy tickets. The only thing we found out from the JR station, aside the fact that I couldn't buy anything from the lady directly, is you have to buy the tickets on the day of and from this little machine. So we'll go to the little machine tomorrow. They open at 6 a.m. I hope to get there at about 7, maybe a little after that. And then buy the tickets, go wait. Bus to the train station that starts everything, or the station that starts everything, leaves, I actually don't know. I got 7:40, 7:50, and 8 o'clock as 3 times, all from the same station. Now, definitely there could be 3 buses that go to the same bus stop number 25, but that is actually a very weird thing to do, particularly because the bus takes about 2 hours to get to the station we need to start at. But we'll see how all that works out tomorrow when I go to do all this, being that you have to buy it on the day of. After that, though, we were there at 8 o'clock and they were literally closing the doors. They showed us how to do everything real quick and we're like, okay, so come back tomorrow. We open at 6. We left out of there and we're kind of trying to figure out what we're going to do for dinner. Leaving the station, everything was closing at 8 o'clock. I have to say, even though that does seem a little bit early, 8 o'clock is actually a decent time, in my opinion, compared to Kobe's 4 p.m. So that's an extra 4 hours that you have a chance to do something. As we were walking out, we were kind of just walking around and I walked down a certain street. We're looking at ramen, izakayas, Chinese restaurants, and then I kind of noticed, I'm like, hey, there's a Wendy's right there if you'd want to try it. And Lynn kind of had her fancy tickled by that, being that she apparently didn't remember that there was Wendy's here. I'm pretty sure when we went to Fukuoka, we ate at Wendy's at Canal City. So, as well as the Ichiran there. I think it is Ichiran or Ippudo. I can't remember either one of those restaurants that's also at Canal City. But Lynn wanted to go see it, so we hopped over and went in, ordered food. We had a takoyaki burger, which is literally a burger that has takoyaki on it, which was pretty crazy. We had a large teriyaki chicken burger and then a regular teriyaki chicken or teriyaki burger junior, or junior burger, is that Dave's Junior Burger? I can't remember. Anyhow, we also got 2 sides of fries and a side of chili fries, a side of chili, and a bowl of tomato cheese pasta, which was delicious. Overall, meal was great. I won't say award winning, but it hit the spot. It hit all the notes that we're looking for. And all 3 of us got melon sodas. I got a regular melon soda. Lynn and Ben both got melon cream sodas, so they had ice cream with theirs. And finishing up there, we split up. Lynn went to go geocaching and explore the city. It's still, the night's still young. It just turned 10. Ben and I decided to come back to the hotel. Ben and I then ate some strawberries and just strawberries. I also went back down to give the guy that helped me out with like all his time some roll cakes from Sendai. I don't know if I have any footage of it, but I do have a photo that I could throw up. It was something that I found off of the Sendai official tourism board video YouTube channel, and so that was they're delicious, and so I gave him 2 of them because he was with a friend at that time. But yeah, I felt bad for taking so much of his time. Like, he literally just got his beer and he walked over to come help me, and he was like really going through and he's really trying. I should have asked him what translation program he was using. It worked really well. Things that he couldn't really explain, he would write it in Japanese in his translation program and I'd get it in English. I would say it worked 90%. There were some weird words in there, but nothing that didn't get the point across, and that was the most important thing. And the thing that amazed me was that he used long sentences. Something like, if you can't get an online reservation right now, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to get a ticket tomorrow. So I would recommend trying. Things like that were pretty impressive, like really good translations. Anyhow, gave him the 2 cakes. We ate the strawberries, came back, took our showers, and here we are. This is gonna end the night. Kind of a short day in my opinion, but I'm thinking this video is gonna be long. The majority of it was just driving. It was, the 3-hour drive from Sekizen-kan to Matsumoto. That was the killer of the day. I'm glad we took the breaks that we did, and it doesn't matter that we were late, because I think with the time that we spent at the resort, as well as like getting snacks or getting lunch or whatever, was totally worth it. And so I don't really think I would have changed anything else other than, if we could have had all that shipping information earlier, since it was all digital, we could have just done it on our own phones and then brought it in. That would have been nice to have from the get-go. I think that would have probably saved us about 15 minutes, but that's just 15 minutes that would have saved us. Other than that, I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and call it and say good night, and we'll see you in the next video.